Hey, welcome back. How you doing? Okay, so we've got Ed209, which we've built the basic torso shape on. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start looking at doing some of the more complicated over cowls and things like that. So I'll move my personal references out the way. God knows I've got enough of them. And find the one that I'm wanting to use. It's quite interesting because it's not a completely smooth kind of shape for Ed209's head. There's actually some creases going down in it, which I'm going to take advantage of. Anyway, layer manager, and let's hide the parts we're not using again. Okay, now let's hide the correct parts. So we need the torso, but we don't want the hips. Yeesh. Okay, that gives us this piece. Now another thing I want to do is kind of put an inside shell on this. So what I'm going to do is kick in a shell like so, and I want inside amount, not outer amount. And at the same time I want to be careful that we're not getting too much overlap going on, because as you can see there's quite a bit going on here, and that's mainly the fault of these parts here. So it might be easier, in fact, if I just delete that off. Just building the inside manually. So, making sure F4 selected. And the only reason I'm doing this is because it makes my job a little bit easier when it comes to putting the other parts on. So, I'm going to bridge there. And there. And basically just keep it going. Good thing is from this I can just pull out straight away my shape of Ed209's head from it. There we go. Okay. Same again down here. And there. There we go. Okay, and that caps out this area here. Now then over here with this piece. You'll notice there's a kind of shape on the inside that I'm going to take advantage of anyway. Before I do though, let's have a look at this vert here. I want to know where it is and what it's doing. Right. I was just trying to work out where I could see it. Makes more sense now. Okay, now I'm going to grab here, 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 and let me see. I might just do this, to be honest, as a symmetrical thing, to save me a bit of time. Shift, drag in. Bridge that. Just going to move this up. Okay, now I can grab these. Just going to shift and drag those up to there. Now I can bridge that. And move this one out. Right. Just get this piece here and bring it up. And then if we get this about right, I'm going to edge select mode here and here and just bridge them. And then I just need to do this one and this one. There we go, and that bridges that piece like so. Then it's just a case of me capping the inside of this. I can just bring it straight back like that. And then start closing it up pretty much, because you're not going to see into here when I'm done with it anyway. Just going to choose which edges I'm going to bridge together. Actually no, I'll just cap it. And then I can cut across it. Or try and cut across it anyway. Oh, goodness me, 3dsmax. You and me are going to have a falling out in a minute. Right then, I just did that so I can just target weld this piece into the right place. Okay, now I can go on from here. Okay, I'll drop in a poly mode. God, I hate you 3dsmax at times. Right. Sometimes it's easier just to make a really messy one and just fix it. Okay, there, and there. Right, now select here, do a quick ring, and a connect, just to give me an extra vert to use here. There we go. Right. Go into cut mode. And again. Okay. That gives us this piece here. Now I can use the target weld again. Clean it up a little bit. Now I'm going to select this one. Grow it. And just do a quick view align. There we go. There. And that's the shape I wanted. Right, now on these parts here, do a quick ring and a connect. Now then, that means I've got to connect here. So I'll just do a cut. And down here. Okay. And this piece needs to come out just a little bit anyway. Okay, that's fine. Top viewport and zoom. Now, we can see where the inside piece is there. Just going to make sure it doesn't overlap. And then I'm going to wipe out this side here. And then I can dump the rest into symmetry. Like so, but on the y-axis. And then collapse it. Okay, that's fine. Now then, just making sure I've got a plain material applied to it, which I have. Next thing I need to do is select these polygons here. I'll just go into select mode for this. There we go. Okay. Now I'll do a tiny insert. And I'm going to go around my insert as well and make sure I haven't ruined anything in my model. Bring it right down like so. Okay, and I'm going to detach it. And give it a suitable name. Temp attach is an ideal name for it. Right, so now we can start moving it around in the confines of our model until we get a shape that we want. So first of all, I need to create a polygon. So get rid of this here. And I can bridge that like so. Now these ones here, just delete them. Let me see. No, I'm going to delete these instead. Here and here. And then extrude it straight out like that. Just bring it in a little bit on the scale, just so that it matches up to there. Okay, oops, just redo that. Right, do a Control A and a quick weld. Right, that's not going to work because if we go into the underside, there are some polygons that I'm going to have to get rid of. Right, now I should be able to do that. Yep, that worked. And let's have a quick look at this as well. I need to get rid of some of these back-facing polygons, I think. There we are. Okay. Next. Didn't have lock on again. And delete these. Actually, no, before I do, let's see. Yep, I'm going to extrude this inwards. Just a temporary thing. Like that, and then delete the back piece. Now I can isolate this. The reason for what I just did there, so don't worry. Now then for these pieces here, I'm going to flip them. They're now facing this way. Quite a complicated piece looking at it, you see, so I'm having to think an awful lot while I'm doing this. Because I don't like making mistakes, and even though I do go back and fix them, it doesn't mean I enjoy doing it. And it doesn't mean that I'm 100% convinced all the time that it makes fantastic tutorial watching. Okay, let's bridge that. Now we're going to bridge this. And this. And then here. Go and do the other side. And here. And then this part here. Okay, now if I select here and just give it a quick loop, then hit delete, that gets rid of that part. Okay, so we've got this bit starting to come together. So now I can exit isolation mode. You can see how that fits in. Right, now it's time to start divvying it up a little bit, so what I want to do here is just go straight through, do a ring and a connect. You'll notice it hasn't connected all the way down here. So before we do that, let's do a quick Control A and a weld just to make sure we've got all the verts. Okay, now let's try it again. There, that's much better. Right, now the shape of the side of this. Just pulling in my reference again. It's amazing, some of the references are actually completely blooming wrong. Okay, it comes up. Then it comes rounded down about there. A quick ring and a connect. Then it comes over to round about here. Okay, dropping a perspective. Now, got the rough shape I'm after so far. Just find a slightly better view for my own benefit. There we are. Okay. Now I want to work in symmetry mode as it's going to make things a hell of a lot easier. So again, I'm just going to kill off half and drop in symmetry. There we go, on the y-axis and flip. And then I'll go down here, show end result. This way I can see if I'm making any big errors that need to be fixed as well. Okay, now I'll start manipulating these to give it this curved shape that I want. Okay, not bad, though it needs to be a little bit lower. See, it's a very defined kind of edge that I'm wanting to give here. And then this is going to come down and round, so there, and there. Smooth the shape. Anyone who tells you Ed209 is easy to model is a lying sack, quite frankly, by the way. And you can tell them that from me. Okay. Now I want to spread out the shape of the dome at the top here, so this enables us to have slightly more control over the shape of the front of Ed. Okay. Pull in my reference again. Pull this up a little bit more here. And here. Alright. Just because we can, I'm going to just change this to dark, like so. There. I'll just change this to a slightly more grey dark. That way it shows up slightly better. Okay, that's not bad. Convert to poly. If I do a quick mesh smooth on that, you'll see that it's maintained the edges okay. So that's fine. What I'm going to do now is attach these two together. Now obviously this ain't going to fit no more because we've got excellent extroverts in here, so I'll just click attach. I'm just going to match material IDs to material and just condense it. There we are. Now what I can do, select here, do a quick ring. Ring. And just finish the ring here. There we go. Now if I do a connect times 2, I can pinch them together and slide them over. Pinch them apart a bit. Makes it a little bit easier. Click OK. Now then, on the other side here, as you can see, they've kind of gone a completely different direction. Bless them to bits and all that. So, what I'm going to do over here is cry a bit. Target weld. That to there. And that to there. Okay. This part's going surprisingly quickly considering it's one of the harder pieces to do. Which always makes me suspicious, incidentally. Okay, I'm going to get rid of these edges. Here and here. Backspace. In fact, I'm going to get rid of these edges here as well. Backspace. Backspace. This is attached, but not optimally, so there we go. Okay, now if I grab here and do a connect, there's our one from last time. Let's try and get it into a good position this time. And just scale them out flat. Okay, this will make it a little bit tidier to grab. And we can even do a cut across here, depending on whether 3dsmax decides it likes us today or not. You ever have that where your copy of 3dsmax decides, for some reason, it wants to hate you today? Right, and a cut here. And here. If necessary, I can symmetry this out later. But it's just going to help me when it comes to actually closing up the model a bit. Okay, now, quick Control A, and a weld. That gets rid of all the verts around the edges. Okay, now, so there's 501 verts in this. How many polygons are in it so far? Only 494. That's about to go up quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as a workbench. There we go. Reason being that I want to use edge checks, and edge checks might mash my model up a bit. I'm going to use standard. I'm not going to use the silly advanced edge checks because I don't see the point. And I'm going to make it my face normals and make the face normals round about 47.5, maybe 48. There we are. That way it doesn't chamfer every single edge. Maybe I will do 45 actually, just because I can. Okay, now, the reason I've done that is just to show you, yeah? If I now go into Edit Poly and add that on the top of this, like so, and then on top of that add NURMS. Let me see, which would be under Turbo Smooth. Just one iteration's all we need. Don't worry, by the way, about the fact that our mesh is no longer, the right color in various places. Just to make sure that it's smooth in the right places, which it appears to be. And that is what Turbo Smooth will do for us. We can separate by smoothing groups and materials, should we so please. However, as you can see, it's kind of separated off this material ID. However, there isn't really that much reason to do so. The only thing that's concerning me is down here. So if I drop back into my editable poly, press F4. Reason being, I want to grab this edge here and just see if there's a problem. No, it seems fine. Possibly the edge checks. Let's have a look. I'll just bin that. and the turbo smooth. It could be that the edge check is a little bit too large, so I'll reduce that. Okay, now stick a turbo smooth on top. There we go. Turn off ISO line display. Or turn it on rather, not off. There we go. Now, it's always best kind of doing a quick walkthrough on your model just to make sure it's okay. We can see there's issues here. There, look. There they are. Crossed verts. So, the question is, why are we getting those? And it must be from this piece here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's from that piece there. Now, I've already saved this to a workbench, so let's go in and see what happens when I just smash a mesh smooth on that. There. That's where the problem lies. And as you can see, it's kind of came up into this to make this shape that I don't really want because it's a bit too rough. So, see if we can isolate where the problem is. It could well be because we've got that polygon there. Or there. Just turn off edge checks again. Thing is, we can see that it's edge checks' fault because if we applied the edge checks just here, and then on top of that we apply the turbo smooth, you can see this is kind of exactly where the problem's coming from. So what we need to do is find a way of repairing that so we can get back to basically the rest of the model. You can see there's a couple of areas on here, and I think the best way to do that will be, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on exactly how retentive you are, doing a little bit of manual chamfering. So I'm going to save my workbench, and what I'm going to do is start looking at just fixing up these edges a bit. So select here and do a quick loop. It's not going to loop, unfortunately. Sometimes they don't, so this is going to be a case of manual work at the moment, which is pretty much what I used to do before I used edge checks anyway. And what I'm going to do is use this to kind of select these inside corners at the same time. Now we can use edge checks for all the other stuff, so don't worry if you're concerned that, you know, we might have to chamfer absolutely everything. It's not a necessity, but the problem areas, such as this, are ones that really we could do with looking at and making sure that they're going to be chamfered properly. Places to look at are things like here, and here, in these little corners. Like I've said before, edge check's a good tool, however, sometimes you can't just rely on a good tool. Now then, how come that's not divided? You see, we've got a polygon error just there. Let's swing it inside. We can get rid of that by doing a quick backspace. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of that. Just do a backspace again, because we don't want that kind of error in there. But because of symmetry, there will be another one just over here, probably. There it is. And these are other things that contribute towards the whole why won't my loops work kind of thing. Okay, there we go. Right, so unfortunately, now that we've found that area, we've got to do it all over again. Now, you probably won't want to watch this, so I'm going to pause. I'm just popping back to say that I am going to chamfer these pieces, okay, just here, because they hold the model pretty much apart when I'm doing these places, which is important. I can also afford to marquee drag on a low poly model, slightly more than I can on a high polygon model. Okay, go in there. Just looking at places where there's errors in our mesh, you can see there's loads here. And these aren't your fault, obviously, dear watcher. These are my problem. But I'm just showing you how I kind of find them. When you're doing select by edge, that's a really good way of actually noticing and picking out some of the problems you might find. There's another one. See, that's the one that we noticed from last time. Down here. Got to do these deep edges because they become a problem otherwise. It's up to you if you want to do this one. It probably wouldn't hurt. I'm not going to do that one there because it'll change the shape overall. Okay. There. And down into here. See, this is the time-consuming stuff that edge checks. Means that we don't have to do most of the time. Right, chamfer. Now I'm going to reduce the amount of chamfer right the way down to a completely minimal amount, like so. Just press F3 so I can look around my model. Now you can see a couple of pieces have been chamfered by accident, probably when I did the marquee. So let's undo that chamfer and then we can deselect them. Okay. I have to look extra carefully because I'm not that good with seeing colours and variations. Okay, let's put the chamfer back. And zoom in a bit so I can have a check. Okay, now I'm going to stick a mesh smooth on just to see how it copes. Yep, that's not too bad. A couple of places in there where it's pulled an error or two. Okay, so I'm going to get on with my optimization, and I think I'll see you in the next part.